So good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here and to share some of the biggest issues in the world, that is climate change and safety production and production of food. Here in the next 150, we strongly believe that biochar is a powerful tool to mitigate those issues. Basically, our presentation is divided into introduction, then we'll also talk a little bit about biochar as a powerful tool in agriculture. Then we'll also talk about biochar as a tool in climate change. And then we have also a really nice study cases from here, from Mexico, from Brazil. Then I would like to share with you. As we know, biochar is a solid materials. But looking at this image, we have a biochar here, normal biochar, but inside of biochar, we have a lot of porous material. So biochar basically is a carbon rich in porous. Almost 98% of biochar is porous. So it happens because of process of pyrolysis, and also that is without or no oxygen condition. And because of this process, we also have in the biochar high cation exchange capacity. So then, how can we produce a powerful biochar? Here in our company, we produce using pyrolysis systems. And of course, we can also choose the best feedstock in order to produce it. And then on the pyrolysis condition, we can control using our feedstock and the pyrolysis condition, we can control the biochar properties. So we can also control, for example, physical and chemical properties. And of course, after we produce our biochar, we do a compositional study in order to understand the whole characteristics of our biochar and define what we will do, for example, the characterizations of biochar. Could you understand the whole characteristics of biochar, such as pH, porosity, cation exchange capacity, and do the applications. For example, we can apply it on the soil in order to improve its quality, and also apply it to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. And then biochar, when are into the soil, he has a lot of functions. So I have here only some of them, but as we know, biochar has a whole world behind of biochar. Here we have that biochar could increase its pH, because normally biochar has pH between almost 7 to 13, and this is contribute to increase the soil pH when we put into the soil. And because of the whole porosity and the high specific surface area of biochar, also it is a powerful tool to increase water retention, to add more nutrients, to increase nutrient retention on it. Those characteristics are really powerful also to increase soil structure, because also biochar is like a house for microorganisms. Also, due to the high quantity of carbon, biochar has a powerful tool to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. And of course, as you know, biochar also increases cation exchange capacity. What is the role of biochar in agriculture? Here we have a meta-analysis made by Smith et al. 2021. And as we can see, biochar is a result of 26 meta-analyses. So basically, biochar is a really powerful tool to increase biomass yield. Here we are talking about plant productivity, carbon yield. Its increment is almost 20% when we include biochar into the soil. So what it happens? Because biochar, it functions as a tool to increase the soil quality as a whole, to increase plant physiologic and soil root, and then as a result, to increase also plant productivity. So as we can see in the following bars, we can see here that biochar could increase, for example, root length in more than 50%. It's increased plant available soil water. The efficient use of water into the soil is, of course, more efficient when we apply biochar on it. And also, we have a huge impact on soil microbial nitrogen, in soil organic carbon, and available phosphorus in the soil. For example, phosphorus availability is 45% more when we apply biochar. Also, we have a better use of our nitrogen because it's reduced, it's lost by leaching and also by N2O emissions. And how important it is when we are talking about, for example, soil remediation, there is a whole reduction between 20 to 40% that is reduced. So, as we can see here, biochar improve its environment, soil quality as a whole, and of course, we have good results in plant productivity. The next 150 suggests some key points in order to apply biochar into the soil. Of course, there is a lot of points. Here we highlight the main one that we consider important to consider when we apply biochar in the soil. First, look for your soil. Familiarize yourself with your chemical, physical characteristics of your soil. This is essential. Understand your soil and identify your problem. What's the problem that I want to resolve with my biochar? Then after your identification, select the biochar that you want. So this is really important because in this process, you can select also the pyrolysis and temperature, the feedstock that will be aligned with the needs that you want in your problem, the needs that you have. The biochar rate establish the suitable biochar application, but of course, in order to do that, consider your soil characteristics, your crop requirements, and also the climate that you are facing, the climate that you have in your country, in your region, in order to apply it. Here is really recommended to looking for published results that is like kind of similar the situation that you have. Another thing in order to consider it is the incorporation method. Some indicates to put on the surface, another one incorporate, but kindly, and you must consider that the biochar need to be attended or throughout the root zone. This is really important because finally in agriculture, you need to attend the plant's demands. It's really important to also monitor and do adjustments. Of course, biochar is not a package. It's only today we are learning even more about the effects of biochar in the soil, in agriculture. And of course, if you do monitoring, we will understand and also you can also do some adjustments in the future. In order to do that, it's necessary to do documentation. Look what is happening with my plant growth, with my nutrient levels when they apply biochar. This is a tool for you do some adjustments in the future. And biochar goes beyond of the agriculture. You have that biochar is also a tool for climate change mitigation. And this is a comparison that was made by Paulson and other researchers. In comparing biochar application with another methods to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, and here we have the biochar has a powerful, is more efficient to reduce the greenhouse gas emission than other practices. And it represents, for example, 1.8 pentagrams of CO2 equivalent per year represents 12% of the current anthropogenic CO2 equivalent, that is 15.4 pentagrams of CO2 equivalent. So biochar can offset a maximum of 12% of global contamination. Gives us really nice results. And then that's why biochar today is a powerful tool, not only for agriculture, but also for climate change mitigation. And what's happening when we have biochar in the soil and added biochar in the soil in terms of climate change mitigation? What is the effect of biochar in order to reduce CO2, methane, and N2O? Here we have results from field incubation and pot experiments in unfertilized and fertilized soil. But normally, of course, we want to know what's happening in field condition. That's why I am exploring here field condition. So in field condition, if you have an unfertilized soil, consider that these numbers is the numbers of studies that was performed by the researchers. So on field condition, we have really, it's almost zero when we apply biochar. But if your soil is fertilized, it's also zero, so no effects in CO2 emissions. So how about methane? So in methane, we have a little increase of CO2 on field condition, and also a little increase when the soil is fertilized. It's almost 10%. N2O, we have a huge no emissions when we apply biochar. And also, if your soil is fertilized, we have that almost 40%, 35% of N2O emissions. So how important it is we consider global results in order to understand what is happening with our soil when we apply biochar in order to climate change. That's why the next 150 also recommend follow some steps when we are looking for greenhouse gas emissions when we apply biochar in the soil. First, know the baseline that you have. Know your target area. How is the greenhouse gas emissions in the area that we already have? And then understand the baseline. Of course, you also understand the biochar effects in order to reduce those greenhouse gas emissions when we apply it. Also, select the biochar that we want. It is really important to consider the feedstock and the production methods, because those characteristics will also influence in HC ratio. I'm talking about hydrogen and organic carbon ratio. This is really important because the methodologies, for example, Pure Earth and Vera, that is for carbon reduction, greenhouse gas emission reduction, also for you could sell those credits, they recommend that your HC ratio must be inferior to 0.7 in order to remain those biochar in the soil for at least 100 years. So, of course, the lower is your HC ratio, the higher is the permanence of your biochar in your soil. Consider that incorporation method here is really important. The methodologies also recommend that this biochar must be integrated into the soil. Also, keep your documentation. It's really important to comprehensive do some records. And then also, this is really nice, and also monitoring your results in order to do some adjustments in the future. This is important because we are constructing knowledge of biochar in the road. The things is not already established. So knowing the behavior of biochar in each condition is essential for everyone. And also in terms of it, we have now some study cases. This one was one that I developed with some researchers from Brazil and Germany. And basically it's a biochar and sugarcane filter cake interaction on physical and hydrological soil properties on the field condition of tropical climates. And look how important is, we did, for example, a comparison here between biochar and soil in terms of properties, in terms of nutrients. And phosphorus, as you can see here, is 138 times more than the phosphorus that we have in the soil. Potassium, for example, is more than 260 times, 2,600 times more than the potassium that you have in the soil. And this is the same with the another nutrients that you have. So biochar have a huge concentration of nutrients on it. And of course, we understand that some of them is not available for the plants. But of course, it's changed with pyrolysis temperature and also feedstock. And also, we can also control those and understand better its behavior in the soil when we also choose pyrolysis and feedstock condition. When we applied this biochar miscanthus in the soil, we saw that there is an increase of water retention capacity in the soil. For example, here we have in blue the microporous, here in yellow the mesoporous, and in green the macroporous condition. So it's really interesting because biochar could increase the water retention in the zone of mesoporous and microporous. And look that it happens when we apply 25 megagrams per hectare in a sandy soil condition in Brazil. This soil is cultivated with sugarcane. And of course, when we increase the soil condition and increase the water retention, water efficiency, we have results on aggregate stability. Look at what's happening with here. Here we have in one side, the control without fertilizer, without nothing, is only control, only soil. But here we have a soil enhanced with 25 megagrams per hectare of biochar. Here we have the presence of macroorganisms. We have high aggregate stability in a sand soil at the 18 months of application of biochar. Another study case that I would like to share with you is about the Latin American Institute of Biochar. All of us know that here in Latin America, we are the main responsible for food production in the world. Of course, because of that, we have a huge amount of residues, agricultural residues. But unfortunately, until now, we didn't have a lot of initiatives as in another part of the world. So it's really important to have initiatives that understand deeply about biochar. That's why we have established it. The next 150 heads work on it. And what is ILBI? It's a non-profit and decentralized organization that is dedicated to research, education, and the promotion of biochar in Latin America. We will be inaugurated this month, on the middle of this month, and of course, all of you are invited to join us. And to do with you, this is an online event. The date, the schedule, the link for access is available here. This will be advertised during the next weeks, so you can look for it, enjoy us on this beautiful event. And also you can join us and be a member of the ILB. And we are so excited with this organization that we are already taking a lot of actions. I will share with you some of them. For example, we are already working in a biochar fuel in new economy in developing world. This is our book. This book will be published in Taylor and Francis group and in almost 1.5 years. So this is the authors, also members of the LB. If you want to participate to join us in this adventure, please send me an email. I have my email in the last slide. Also, we had working in contributing with this book, Biochar for Enhancing Soil Fertility, Function and Plant Response. So we had wrote this book chapter entitled Recent Trends in Multifarious Benefits of Biochar Application to Soil. So how important it is to contribute in the level of world, the persons who now understand deeply about this theme. And we also do this contribution. It will be published this year in Elsevier, so you can also have access to this knowledge. This is another publication that is also be available this year, so we also can access. Is a sustainability book entitled Introduction to the Use of Biochar in Cement and Concrete. Also a member of our group had wrote it. It's available on IMSIC, so in this company, of course, you can access on it. And this is a beautiful experiment, two-field experiment that you had developed here in Mexico, with the goal to know the effects of biochar in reducing the need of fertilizer and improving the socioeconomic level of farmers in Guanajuato, Mexico. This OFE, or on-field experiment, is so important because everyone knows the fertilizer crisis that we are facing. But we need to maintain our production. We need to maintain it. And how can we maintain it and reduce the fertilizer level using biochar? This is the results that will be really important to aggregate value, to reduce, to increase the socioeconomic level of farmers in Guanajuato. This had a real impact because directly is benefiting more than 23,000 of farmers in Mexico, and also is applied for more than 100,000 of hectares. Forbes looking for these researchers. Okay, I want to do an interview and know more about it. So we have here, if you want to know more about, please read this article in Forbes. Here is our experiment. We follow deeply the scientific level, were deeply considered. We use 5 repetitions of field condition. We use 11 treatments in order to determine which biochar rate could really maintain the production, reduce the fertilizer level. And of course, we also already have our harvest. We have the first results. We have how much we could reduce the fertilizer level when we apply biochar. But these results, I will share on North American Biochar Conference, and we are invited to attend, to know our results, and also to be part of this event that will be united the biggest persons or a lot of persons in the world that are working with biochar. So basically, my presentation will be biochar rate effects on core germination, development, production in Acámbaro. I will also introduce how much we could reduce and maintain the production using biochar waste. Also, our director, Luisa Marin, will present for everyone biochar production in Mexico, a comprehensive overview, so you can deeply understand about it with her. And another practice that she will do is about human are shaping the future of biochar industry, leading the way across all sectors of industry. You are invited, and congratulations for every woman that has immersed of the biochar world. And it's a really nice talk that you will have. Of course, we are invited to join us in the North American Biochar Conference that will be held on February 12 to 15. We have here some conclusion. As you could see, biochar plays a significant role, not only in agriculture, but also in climate change mitigation. Of course, but we need to fully harness the potential and understand the unique characteristic of the soil if you want to have higher results, to attain your goals. So this knowledge is essential for you understand, for you selecting the most suitable biochar for application. In the context of Latin America, we really need a biochar initiative. That is why we are inviting you to join in the ILB and be a member of this really beautiful organization. This organization will play a pivotal role in promoting the safe and sustainable production and utilization of biochar here in Latin America. Here you have some reference, of course, you can access, you can looking for in order to understand more about it. Here is another recommended articles that we also can access. Here's our team. So this is the plant that you already have here in Mexico. And thank you very much for your attention. If you have doubts, I am available right now. Here is, we have my email and the email of the organization.
Thank you very much, Sarah, for your presentation. It's very interesting what's going on your side of the Pacific. So I had one question. So how big is your institute, the ILB, by now? Because it sounds like you have quite big field studies.
Yes, of course. Currently, we have some. It's of course we are only starting it. It's not so big, but currently we have the huge. We have access, for example, for IBI, USBI is also like a partnership of us. We have some members that is interested on it, persons, researchers, and also professional from Cuba, for Colombia. There is a lot of interest on it. We are starting, but we are strong. So we have members that also is part of the ILB, the IBI, that is with us. That's why we are inviting everyone to join us. And I have no doubt that it's play a huge impact on Latin America.
No, that's for sure, and I think it's a great area to apply biochar as well. So you got a question from John Hoffmeyer, which was, where is it? Is your institute associated with Embrapa, which I don't know what it is, but maybe you know?
Of course, I know. I am from Brazil, Embrapa. I love Embrapa. I had worked with at Embrapa some years ago. It's not associated yet, of course. They are invited some researchers in order to have this beautiful company that works with research in Brazil. But yet we didn't have a member for Embrapa. If you know someone, of course, we can write for us in order to join us.
And Marshall was asking for, I guess, the picture at the end from the General Biochar System plant in Mexico, I guess it is. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Of course. Mhm. Yes, this one?
I think so. Yes, I think that's the one. So do you know what the throughput is? And is it your own pyrolysis system or is it a other technology provider?
We use pyrolysis system, exactly. We
Yeah, but
currently, uh-huh,
your own developed technology or is it a third-party technology?
third party, yeah, is not our own.
Um, and I was asking because you got a question about the biochar and cement report. And I was wondering, so are you actively working outside of agricultural applications as well? And
Yes,
if
yes.
yes, what are you looking at right now?
Yeah, we are also currently working with cement and concrete and bank materials. So we had also developed our research in order to apply our biochar for increase the consistency of cement and concrete. And of course, we are also working with bank materials in order to sequestrate those carbons on it.
Okay. And then Isabel Lima was asking, have you done studies using bagasse to produce biochar?
Bagasse, we have some research regarding it. In our facility, we didn't had already produced biochar using bagasse, but you had some projects. Yeah, we had some projects, and then is a good feedstock.
Okay, great. So if you have any more questions, please write into the chat. I want to follow up that if you write to John Webster, you get a discount on the USBI conference if you mention the webinar. So I think John was here last time to mention that.
Of course, I can share the website. Yes, of course.
And I also like that we had two women as presenters today. So that's a good closing slide here. So I encourage everyone to apply for the next webinar season as well, if you want. And Audrey has the last question today to Sarah. How does biochar influence the CO2 sequestration of concrete and cement? Can you give us a brief answer on that?
Of course. This is a really important question because biochar is like stabilized on this structure. And it's really a huge impact because different from the soil that you have microorganisms, that you have chemical composition that could more influence in the decomposition of biochar during the time. Here in the cement and concrete, we didn't have this whole, we didn't have a lot of microorganisms and microorganisms. So the persistence on it is a little bit higher than in the soil. Then it's really important to research deeply about it. We are only starting our investigations. And of course, it's a really thing to understand better the permanence of biochar in cement and concrete will be a really huge step for us to understand more in order to reduce greenhouse gas emissions.
Great. Thank you very much, Sarah, for your presentation.